Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host, Red. I get videos today from Alexander Grace.
Our species is adapting to how abusive and horrifying and disgusting and despicable men have become. We are evolving into a matriarchy. And that's how it should be. Because men have been such terrible humans consistently throughout history, I know that women as a whole have collectively developed really bad trust issues and just not wanting to deal with men whatsoever. And I'd even like to take it a step.
They act like history it's only been like 100 years or 200 years. It's like, what the actual fuck are you talking about? If men and women did not trust each other to the degree that you're speaking of, we wouldn't be alive.
Further and say that it's not even trust issues, it's that women are evolving to their environment around them. We're adapting in order to survive. We are currently adapting at how to survive without men, we can financially. And we're learning how to live on our own. We're doing things by ourselves. We're finding community with women around us, with our sisters, our friends, our mothers, our aunts.
This is not an accident. This is the natural conclusion of feminism. Feminism has told women that they should be independent from men, but female independence is an oxymoron. You understand? It is definitionally impossible. If an alien species landed on planet Earth and demanded to know what a human being was, if you handed them just a female and that was their understanding of what a human was, then their understanding would obviously be incomplete. Men and women are equal halves of an indivisible whole. That is not ideology, that is biology, because the creation of a human requires a sperm and an egg. We are a sexually dimorphic species. So there is no female identity without contrast to the male. Women don't even exist as a category without men. So True. What exactly do women mean when they say they want to be independent from men?
Sit the fuck down. Give me your money, okay? Give me your money because that's all you're good for. That's literally your entire value, okay? Unless you demonstrate that your value is something else, I'm going to assume it's only money, so I'm going to ask you for it. I don't want to spend my money. Yes, I'm an independent lady. I'm an independent lady. I don't want to spend my money because my money is for my security, for my investment, okay? For my bank account. For my future.
No, it's just for your stuff that you like to buy. They love to say investment and all this stuff, but what investments, what retirements do women actually have?
True. Your money, however, is for play.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you think that women being independent meant that they would be self-sufficient and provide for themselves? No. When a modern feminist says that she wants to be independent, what she means is non-reciprocal. She still wants stuff from you. She wants stuff from men through your gifts and your favors and your taxes. She just doesn't want to provide anything back in return. That's what she means by independence. And it is easy to criticize this kind of naked selfishness as immoral and evil. But today, I don't want to do that. I want to criticize it for being stupid. Yes, it's manipulative and it's exploitative and it shows complete disregard for the dignity and rights of men, but it's also just dumb. Our species evolved via the complex interplay of biological differences, role specialization, and of course, sexual selection. So it is an indisputable fact that it is men who turned women into women. You understand what I mean? That femininity evolved as a distinct, identifiable set of characteristics as a response to masculinity. There is no femininity without masculinity. There's no women without men. And so assuming that the original goal of feminism was to promote women's best interests, to provide a framework that promotes their well-being, you see that telling women to be independent from men is moronic. It's completely unnatural because women were not designed to be independent from men. Of course they weren't. That makes no sense. And that is the simple and obvious reason why women who achieve independence are always so miserable. It's because it's unnatural and they are fighting against their true nature.
You don't think you need a man to survive in life or anything?
No, I have a $180K salary as a 22-year-old. And I have a bonus next week. I do not need a fucking man to be happy.
Yeah, but money is temporary. It comes and goes. What happens when you lose your job?
I can have 5 fucking boyfriends a week. I do not need one man to keep me happy.
I mean, doesn't the happiness just exude from her? She seems so joyous, so at peace. And congratulations on making $180,000 as a 22-year-old. But forgive me for being a little bit curious about what job it is that you have that pays you so well at such a young age and also enables you to have 5 boyfriends a week. Hey, you know, not my place to speculate, but don't you
Starts
see
with an
that
O?
feminism got so caught up in the question of whether or not women could be independent financially that they completely lost sight of the more important question of should they be?
If you don't accept me for who I am, then fuck you, because I just am who I am. I shouldn't apologize for that. I'm a grown woman. I make my own fucking profit. I can do whatever the fuck I want with my money and with my body that I want to. It's not your decision.
Okay, if feminism was correct and men and the patriarchy were oppressing and enslaving women, and that true liberation of femininity will come when women achieve independence from men, why is it then when these women do achieve independence from men and they can financially take care of themselves, why are those women so hostile, so miserable? I mean, if feminism was correct, then shouldn't they just be floating on a cloud of peacefulness and contentedness? Shouldn't they be exuding femininity? They finally got rid of men, the one thing that was holding them back from the life of bliss that they knew was their birthright as women. So why isn't it coming to pass? Why, when feminism has reached its historical peak of influence, there's never been a culture more feminist than the West right now. Why, at this moment in history, are women more miserable than ever? Well, it makes sense when you understand that the very foundational premise of feminism, that women can be independent from men, is wrong. They can't, okay? Humans are not built for independence, certainly not independence from the opposite gender. This isn't politics or philosophy, this is biology. This comes before any of that other stuff. If you study the neurological architecture of the human brain, you'll see that all of the chemical rewards, all the stuff that our biology is incentivizing us to do, has to do with cooperation and relationships within the human species. We thrive when we are cooperating with the other humans around us. That's what makes us feel good. We are a cooperative species. We are not built for isolation. We are built for symbiosis, for co-regulation. I don't need to give you the whole birds and the bees thing here, but men and women are quite literally 2 puzzle pieces that are designed to fit together. When a woman is touched by a man that she loves, her brain gives her oxytocin and endorphins. When he listens to her and removes her stress, it reduces her cortisol. When they share stories and jokes and they laugh together, both men and women experience a surge in dopamine. Stable, secure relationships between men and women have a correlation with consistent levels of serotonin, which governs mood stability and well-being. I'm going to discuss what healthy interdependence in a relationship looks like in part 2 of this video, which will be available on Patreon. But understand that women have had this feminist, women should be independent nonsense, this doctrine shoved down their throats for decades, and it still hasn't taken root. Not really. As much as they might try and be good feminists, they can't squash that part of themselves that craves relationship with masculinity, with a man. It's wired too deep. They might say that they want independence from a man, but their biology says different. In fact, everything inside her physical...
I mean, even me as a man, like, yeah, I like women. Would I want to be with a woman? Would I want to be able to have someone here all the time? Sure. Right? I think men yearn for that. Even if we don't yearn, it's always something in the back of our minds that, yeah, women, it's there.
Physical biology is saying the exact opposite.
I think that the question is a quality of life question. Can I survive by myself? Yes. Would that be a good quality of life? Absolutely not. It would be miserable. I had a really hard time letting go of the term feminist because obviously I want women to be empowered into whatever, but I find that it just does not fit how I feel. For the longest time, I was rebelling against who I am to try and appease this feminist idea of like, I can work and I can be independent. Yeah, I can. I prove that to myself, but I'm going to be miserable. I also think that the language around woman empowerment is so condescending to tell, you know, like, boss babe, you can do it yourself. It's like talking to a baby.
That is exactly right, because if this whole thing was just about women proving to men that they can do it by themselves, well, consider the point made. Yes, you can make your own money. And yes, even in physical labor, if you just work long and hard enough at it, you can do what men do. You want to stress about finances? You want to do hard physical labor? Like, I believe you. You can do it. Absolutely happy to acknowledge that. But my question is, why would you want to? Is it really such a...
They act like us men want to. It's like, yeah, I just love picking up heavy objects and then moving them from one location to another constantly throughout my whole day. That is literally my whole day, just moving heavy objects constantly. Yes, we love it because it pays us so well and it makes us so fulfilled.
Flex to demonstrate that you have the capacity to live an unnatural lifestyle? Could I exist on this planet without Emily as my partner? You know, could I exist without having a woman in my life?
Sure.
Yes, of course I could exist. But there's no way that my life would be as fulfilling or as happy. Just like women, I have all of these biological instincts and neurological architecture that gives me chemical rewards, incentivizing me to be in a relationship with a woman who loves me. As a man, I am specifically designed to be with a woman, and I don't want to go against my design or miss out on any of those rewards. Why would I do that?
That's the part where I always tell you guys, like, I always say it, like, family and kids and legacy is a part of life that you'll never experience if you don't have it, right? I'm not saying it's the end-all be-all experience, but you're missing out on an experience that life has to offer. And it's an experience that not everybody gets to experience.
For what purpose? Just so I can prove that I'm independent? That's stupid. That's just dumb. You know, that's pride. You get your independence and in return, you're miserable. Well done. You know, was that a good trade? And I don't mean to pretend that lesbian relationships don't exist. They absolutely do. And they can be functional. Yes, the domestic violence rates are higher in lesbian relationships. And yes, they get divorced at a higher frequency than straight couples do. But I want to be clear, I am not making a biological essentialist argument. I do not doubt for a second that there do exist deeply fulfilling lesbian relationships and that they generate a bunch of endorphins and oxytocin and all of that stuff. But here's the thing, most women are straight. And when they try and replace men with female friendships, it doesn't go well. You guys remember the video I did a couple of months ago that demonstrated neurologically what actually happens when women get together to discuss their problems. They don't actually co-regulate, they co-ruminate, and all of the women are left feeling more anxious in the aftermath. And of course, there's that one area that men will never be replaced in.
I've been crying on and off for a little bit now, and I want to be a mom so bad. Like, I want to be pregnant so bad and grow a human, and I just want to take care of... I just want to be a mom so bad. And I just wish I could be one right now.
It is remarkable to me that feminism as an ideology has somehow escaped the blame for all of the suffering that modern women are currently experiencing. How? How have they done that? Why has there been no consequences yet for feminism when they are so clearly at fault, when so much of this suffering is on their hands? You think it's okay to tell women that their highest moral duty as good feminists is to achieve independence from men? And then when women believe you and then they struggle inside their relationships trying to live up to this definitionally impossible ideal. And so they fight and they argue and they break up with their boyfriends, they get divorces, and the whole thing's a mess. And now they can't reproduce because they can't find a stable relationship. They don't get to be mothers. What, you just get to wash your hands of that whole thing? You don't have to take on any of the blame. You just push it all onto patriarchy. This is what happens when you use a sledgehammer to address historical grievances rather than a more measured, feathered touch. I discuss more about that in part 2 on Patreon. But I want feminism to know that the suffering of women like this is entirely on you. Like it or not, the deepest expression of femininity, of the true female identity, what actually makes a woman as opposed to a generic genderless human, is her ability to create new life, to grow it inside her, to nurture a child. And your ideology is meant to be about supporting women, about protecting and promoting their interests. And yet you actively campaign for women to be weary of men, to try and avoid having children because then they'll become dependent upon a man, as though motherhood is something to be ashamed of, like it's weakness, like it somehow makes...
They do make motherhood seem like some kind of weakness or flaw, don't they?
A woman lesser if all she does is create new life and raise children. Your ideology pushed this anti-motherhood message, and it has created so much suffering. It's
sad because the suffering is still... Like, they don't even know why they're suffering. They don't even know that they're suffering. They just assume this is life now, right? They don't know that it's feminism. It's their ideology that is making them miserable, which is even sadder, right? The life that you're living and the way you're living is making you miserable, but you have no clue that that's what it's doing.
Fucking evil.
Girl in my comments that said that my husband would leave me because I decided to be a housewife. You were right. I realized after I read your comment that I am totally missing out. I should be in an office pretending to like Janet and her cats. And I should totally be sitting in traffic for 45 minutes, crying in my casual, but not really casual, cheap office outfit. And I just cannot thank you enough for waking me up to the fact that the life that I have today, making a homemade soup for my husband, waiting for him to get home from work, was the wrong thing to do. I should have kept on hustling to my office job. I should have kept being friends with Janet, who only has a cat, and she was gonna be such a good influence in my life, and I just probably wanted to be like Janet, but I decided to find a husband who protects me and provides for me, takes care of me, loves me, honors me, admires me. That was really stupid of me. So
the attack on stay-at-home wives and mothers is so revealing, because it gets a little bit more difficult to defend feminism as this well-meaning but ultimately flawed attempt to protect and promote women's interests when they are viciously attacking women who choose to find happiness with a man and shaming them for not being independent. Is this really a well-intentioned mistake, or was this the plan? Is that actually the substance of the ideology? The dark truth is that feminism intentionally and cynically exploits vulnerable women when they are at their lowest. When a woman has been hurt and abused in a relationship and she's starting to panic and her thoughts are racing and they're filled with anxiety, she's thinking things like, maybe it'll never get better. Maybe all men are like this. Maybe I can't trust anybody and I can only ever rely on myself. At that moment, instead of talking her down from the ledge, bringing her back to reality and grounding her and regulating her, feminism did the fucking opposite. It encouraged her. It pushed her further. It poured fuel on the flame of her paranoia. How fucking dark is that? Yes, you're right. Men are the enemy. And yes, patriarchy is everywhere. And men are responsible for everything. They're responsible for all of...
Damn. This is so true. Like, women, they feel this way. And then like, this reaction that Alex is having right now, this is how a lot of women speak to me. Like, when I speak to women about subjects like this, they speak in this type of manner where they're like, oh, well, you know, I was feeling this way. And then, you know, she told me and then she agreed and everybody was just like, yeah. And I was just like, it's fucking men.
Of your suffering. That's why you can never date men again, because they are your oppressor. You will never be safe with a man. Honestly, look at the substance of what feminism is, what its message is, and then look me in the eye and tell me that that's not fucking evil.
It's like a hyper independence thing that like dating is so scary. And it's like, of course I want to be loved and I want someone to be excited about and I want to have all those feelings of comfort and protection. At the same time,
The thought of it is absolutely terrifying. Granted, I know why it's terrifying, because of trauma. But at any moment, that person could pull the rug out from under you.
Okay, understand that the clinical literature on this is unambiguous. Hyper-independence is a trauma response. It is a coping mechanism for somebody whose boundaries have been repeatedly violated, and as a result, they have developed trust and panic issues. Hyper-independence is not a healthy state to aspire to, and yet
I never thought it was. Like, to be at a state where you don't want to talk to your boys, you don't want to talk to people in general, like, you're kind of lost in a sense because we're humans.
feminism promotes it as though it is some kind of noble destination that all women should aspire to. How fucking crazy is that? You could say that independence is valuable as a capacity, as in you have the ability to be independent if necessary, but it is not a desirable destination to end up in. It is quite the opposite. It is miserable. Okay, let's recap. In part 1, I've discussed how men and women are part of an indivisible whole, that feminism is unnatural for trying to teach women that they should be independent, and that the way that they have achieved this is by the cynical exploitation of women's trauma. In part 2, I want to give a bit of history and a bit of positive psychology. I want to talk about why feminism as a movement historically used the sledgehammer approach, why they didn't choose to just make minor reforms here and there, but instead tear everything down, the whole thing's evil. And I also want to give some instruction for the guys out there who want their relationships to be healthy. They want to be able to depend upon their partner in a way that's not codependent, but interdependent.
Again, always shout outs to Alex. I know some of you guys don't like him, but I actually really enjoy his content. It does jog my brain up and, you know, fire up some brain cells, because my brain cells are dying constantly watching these fucking videos. So when at least his videos are waking them back up, please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that, and catch you guys next time. Ciao.